Hello everybody and welcome back. This is probably like my 5th video, so most likely welcome. I decided that I really want to make videos that excite me, that I think are cool, that I think are interesting or funny. So I wanted to start my ghost stories series on my channel. I am like a go-to ghost story person. I love them. I 100% believe in ghosts. If you don't, that's fine, debate me. I can completely understand being skeptical, but personally I have had so many experiences that I can't even sit here and say that I don't believe in them anymore. So I'm like the go-to person for my friends. I literally got a text from one of my friends, it was probably a couple months ago now, being like, hey, you have good ghost stories, right? Like, I just get them all the time because people know that if you want a good ghost story, I got you. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm a psychic or anything like that, but I've definitely had a lot of different experiences in a bunch of different places. And I think when my sister and I are together particularly, or like my roommate and I now, I tend to have like a lot of these types of things happen to me. So I wanted to kick it off with like my very first official kind of like ghost run-in, which was at this house that my aunt had rented for our whole like extended family in Maine. Now, I can't remember exactly what part of Maine that this was in. I was probably, honestly, I'll put in a picture of like me and my family. I was probably 5 at the time that this happened. So like bear with me if I don't know every single detail or anything like that. But this house, when you first rented it, they told you right off the bat, there's a room here that we preserve because a boy, I don't know if he passed away in the house. I'm assuming that he did, or like it used to be his house. They pretty much like advertise it as a haunted house because they preserved this young boy's room who had died of some type of illness. And literally, if you go into the house, he has his bedroom, like I believe they still had like toys. They definitely had his bed. Again, I was so young that I don't remember like a ton of like what it looked like or anything like that, but I know for a fact that they preserved pretty much like a ton of his stuff. Who knows, for all we know, they could have been making this up and this could have just been like a ploy to get people to rent it, but it worked because my family ended up renting it for, I think, 2 weeks. My aunt rented it for our whole extended family on my dad's side to go to and kind of just like spend time together. So first I want to start with just telling you the things that I personally remember that have happened there. I know for a fact that my family probably experienced other things that I don't even know about, or things that like they got from a different perspective. Like I said, I was pretty young when all this happened, so I can really only speak like my experience. So one of the first things was that when we were pulling up to the house, I looked up really quickly. I don't know if it was when we were pulling up initially or if it was after we'd been there. I really don't remember. I just remember the moment because I remember looking up at the house and I saw a girl, but I had looked up and looked away so quickly that when I looked back, she wasn't there. And I was like, oh, whatever. It was just me. I'm seeing things, like whatever. Not a big deal. But later on, my sister actually said that she had also seen a little girl in one of the windows of the house. I don't know if it was the same day or not because we only talked about this like 10 years later, but she had also seen a little girl in the window of this house at some point, which was very odd because supposedly, like I said in the beginning, it was supposed to be haunted by a young boy. So for there to be another girl in the house as well was like a little strange and like a little off, and not something that you would make up. You would never be like, oh, I saw a girl too. You know what I mean? Normally, if you were going to make it up, you would just say, oh, I saw a little boy there. So my sister and I both saw this girl at one point or another in the house. One of the things that happened a lot, or like it happened occasionally, was doors slamming, things like that. A lot of times you would just be like, oh, it's the wind, the windows are open, it slammed the door, which makes complete sense because it happens all the time, especially even in this apartment, it'll happen constantly. But one of the things that happened is we were all around the dinner table, no one was up. I'm pretty sure everybody was in the same room at this point, and all of the windows were closed. It was not like a warm night. I believe it was kind of rainy or like very windy, so we had shut the doors on purpose. That way the doors weren't constantly slamming. But one of the doors that led to the hallway where the little boy's bedroom were just slammed shut all of a sudden. And no one, we all just like stopped talking for a moment and we're like, okay, like keep going, like keep eating dinner. But it was definitely just another little like tiny thing. And like, of course, if you're skeptical, you can say that was anything, but I like to think that it could have been related to some of the, like the paranormal activity that we experienced at this house. And my sister and I were big on playing croquet this summer. It was like super nice out. They had a croquet set, and when we went to go visit my grandma all the time, she would have croquet, and like Clarice and I, my sister, would just end up playing together all the time because it was just like something for two kids to do. My parents weren't big on like letting us watch TV. We didn't have video games. Like we had books or like go outside and find something to do. So my sister and I one day were playing croquet and we had our dog outside with us because she had come. She was like a border collie, so she would herd you and like run in circles and things like that. She's a very, very smart dog. And she had been outside with us while we were playing, and like if you have never seen croquet, you have a little like wicket and it like you stand it up. I'll like put in a picture of like what the wickets look like, and you hit a ball through the wicket and that's how you get points, is like you have to go all the way around it and then come back to the starting point. So Clarice and I are in the middle of this game, and every time we turn around, like a few of the wickets will just be out of the ground. Like they'll be uprooted, fell on the side, like out of the ground, and we're sitting there going, Emma, our dog, come on, like why are you pulling them out of the ground? We're like, come on, you gotta stop trying to hurt us, like whatever she was doing. So this happened a few times, and finally, we were like, okay, Emma, like you go, you lie down in front of us. We don't want you to keep doing that because you're ruining the whole game, and then we have to stop, go set it back up again. It's like a huge process. So we made her lie down somewhere in front of the game where we could see her in our eyesight. And we kept playing, and we turned around, and once again, the wickets are out of the ground, they're on their side, you know what I mean, one or two of them are just lying flat on the grass rather than being stuck into it, and we both just like look at each other, and that was it. We were like, alright, like, that's the end of that game, like, go back inside with everybody else, don't want to like be alone for too long. Yeah, it was crazy, and like, I definitely just think it may have been like one of the kids trying to play with us, either that little boy or the little girl, like somebody was just trying to have fun with us and like screw around, but it was so like aggravating at the time, and it was so scary at the time, being like a little like 5 or 6 year old, and having that happen is just like weird. And the last thing that I experienced personally, when I was with my sister, everybody had been outside hanging out on the porch. I think we were like having a barbecue, something. For some reason, everybody was outside, and there was nobody in the house whatsoever. So my sister and I go inside, and we head to our bedroom, which was next door, I believe, to the little boy's room. Don't quote me on that, I may be wrong. From what I remember, it was like in the same hallway, like at the end of the hallway was our room, and then the little boy's room was like here, the hallway was like right here. So we head down to our room, and off of our room was a single bathroom. It was like the master bedroom, so it had its own bathroom, and you'd have to go through the room, and then the bathroom was like the furthest point away from the door. So my sister and I walk into our room, and we see that the door is shut to the bathroom and the light's on, so we're like, oh, okay, like whatever, not a big deal, we'll wait. As far as we knew, nobody was in the house, but we figured, you know what I mean, somebody came in. There was like my dad's extended family. He has, I think, 6 or 7 siblings. Like, he has a lot of siblings, a lot of cousins. There's a lot of people there, just in general. So, like, okay, maybe we just didn't realize somebody left and they had to go to the bathroom, so they came in here. So we were sitting and we're waiting, and all of a sudden, I don't remember which one happened first, but the toilet flushed, or somebody used the sink. It was something involving, like, the water. I believe the toilet flushed. And then we waited another second, and the light shut off. But the door didn't open, nothing happened. So at this point, my sister gets extremely creeped out because, like we said, we were 80% positive that nobody was in this house with us. So she turns around and goes to leave, and I walk into the bathroom and I open the door, and there's nobody in the bathroom. So we both stood there, heard the toilet flush, the sink turn on, and the light shut off, and there's nobody in this bathroom. So I remember I booked it, and I ran outside past my dad who was coming in, because we were just both so creeped out by the fact that, like, somebody had turned off that light. Like, there had to have been somebody there, but there wasn't, because I remember I specifically went and opened the door and looked to see if anybody was in there after they shut off the light, and there was nobody, and it wasn't even locked. So it's like just crazy, the like amount of experiences that you can have in one place in such a short period of time. And moving on to talking about like other people's experiences that I seem to know of, and my sister kind of also remembers. We have talked to them about it since, but I don't want to like say anything and then have it be like untrue, because I can't 100% speak for them since it didn't happen to me. But I do remember when we were there that my cousins were playing darts outside. They had like a dartboard on the porch, and they were throwing the darts, and there was a point where the darts would just stop and just fall. Like, rather than making their full like trajectory, they would just randomly stop and then fall to the ground. And that was one thing. I don't know, they may have made that up. They may have just wanted to seem cooler. I don't know. I don't remember, but I remember them telling us this story when we were there. So if it did happen, that just adds even more to my story about all of the paranormal activity and things like that that happened there. And another thing that my sister had told me is that she at one point remembered, I believe this was the same time as the door slamming incident where the door slammed while everybody's at the table. She remembers that she saw a little boy under the table, and it was like he was playing like hide and seek, almost like he was hiding under the table. And she never mentioned it because she was like, I didn't want to like seem crazy, or like, I don't know, like I didn't want anybody to think anything of it, but I 100% saw a boy under the table. So that's just crazy to me that like there can be a place where there are so many different spirits in the same area. Last but not least, this one is kind of, again, like up for debate because it didn't happen to me and I don't particularly like remember this happening at all, but my sister had told me that my uncle's girlfriend at the time, we just call her my aunt because she was like, they had been together for years. So my aunt had gone to the bathroom. She was highly afraid of paranormal activity, like was super afraid of this house, did not want to be there, was waiting for something to happen to her pretty much because she was so afraid of it. She had gone into the bathroom on the upper floor, and when she tried to get out, it almost was like it was locked and she was having trouble getting out of this bathroom. And I think she struggled for like a few minutes before the lock finally released. It really wasn't locked because you could only lock it from the inside. So she spent like minutes trying to get this door open, being like trapped in the bathroom, but she couldn't open it because of some mystery reason. It wasn't like the door was just stuck, because it immediately, like as soon as it came free, it was perfectly fine. Nobody else ever had a problem with it. It was very like odd. I do believe if this really did happen the way that everybody told me, it could be because she was so afraid of any type of paranormal activity that you almost like draw more into yourself. I think if you are so scared of them, you're putting yourself on like a more negative vibration than everybody else. It's a whole huge explanation. If you want me to talk a little bit more about my explanation as to why certain people can experience things or why certain people are more likely to have like a haunting happen to them, I can do that. I do believe a lot of it is your belief system, because things will happen and if you just write them off as nothing, then to you they're nothing. But to somebody who believes in it, who has no other explanation, who doesn't know what else it could be, it really could be a paranormal, you know what I mean, activity type of event. So anyways, if you guys want to hear more of these, I have like tons. My sister and I broke into like a fort in Rhode Island with our friends, and like we had some stuff happen there. My sister and I have had stuff happen at my mom's house, stuff happen at a park that we went to, just a whole bunch of things. I would love to tell you guys all about them if you would like me to. So give this video a thumbs up, comment, tell me if you would like to hear more of these videos from me. As you can tell, I get really fired up about them. I like honestly love making these videos. This is such a me topic. Pardon me if I speak way too fast in these videos. I get so excited about them that I just want to like get the story out there as quickly as possible. And sometimes I don't realize how fast that I'm talking, and I have to like actually pay attention and be like, okay, Chloe, calm the fuck down, like chill out a little bit. So if you want to hear more of these, like I said, comment down below, DM me on Instagram, follow me there. It's at ChloeWigs. Feel free to subscribe to the channel, please. It would mean a lot. I'm still a pretty new channel, and honestly, I love making these videos. And if you have any more video ideas, let me know, and I will see you guys in my next video. Woo! Bye, guys.